Charlottesville, our studio in the shadows of Thomas Jefferson's University of Virginia, less than 2 miles from the rotunda, the John Paul Jones Arena in Scott Stadium. A hop, skip, and a jump from the Charlottesville Police Department. We just saw Chief Kotchis walking in front of the studio prior to the show starting. Chief Kotchis, freshly manicured, a fresh haircut for the George Clooney of policing. A fan, I'm a huge fan of Chief Kotchis.
I saw him out there the other day.
Are you on a two-shot?
Not yet.
Are you doing the voice of God?
Just a second. I'm trying to adjust.
I very much want people to see the face when the Judah voice comes onto the talk show, so you don't come across as the voice of God. You saw Chief Kotchis the other day.
Yeah, I was taking Liza outside, and he complimented me on Liza, and turns out he was picking up some Haribo
Gummy bears?
Gummy bears
at the grocery store
for his wife. He said she only likes the one brand.
Oh, very nice. That's some intel right there.
And
I like Haribo gummy bears.
And he gave Liza some loving.
Curtis Shaver, are you watching the program today? Curtis Shaver is a huge fan of gummy bears and gummies altogether. Curtis Shaver loves Haribo gummy bears. Why don't we get Curtis's photo, if we could, on screen? The great JerrDini will be on the program tomorrow with Sidekick Boobini. Part of JerrDini's outfit includes a tank top that pays homage to friend of the program, Curtis Shaver, who is what, Judah? What's his power ranking? ilovecville.com/viewer rankings. He's 31. His face is on the tank top.
Yep.
JerrDini will be wearing enhanced clothing, perhaps a shawl. This is where you...
A shawl?
A shawl?
A shawl?
A shawl.
You're turning into my friend Will is...
a shawl.
A shawl.
That's what I said, shawl.
I don't think the L is silent, though.
Did I make the L silent?
That's the way it sounded to me.
A shawl? So yeah, do I have to go shawl? Boobini will be wearing a shawl, perhaps some makeup, and some clip-on earrings tomorrow, along with the tank top.
Boobini's going to be wearing...
the JerrDini is. Boobini has promised his fans that he will wear improved and enhanced attire.
Yeah, no foxes.
Fox is fornicating on the shirt, is what the viewers and listeners thought Boobini was wearing last week.
Yeah.
All right, we need to get back on task here. Somehow we went from Chief Kotchis walking by the studio with his fresh haircut to Haribo gummy bears that you saw him purchase at the grocery store next door, to me referencing Curtis Shaver's love for Haribo gummy bears, to the tank top that JerrDini was wearing, and then JerrDini's enhanced attire. We're distracted. We apologize. Today we're going to cover Neil Williamson's story on the Free Enterprise Forum. The headline, if you would like to read it, is called "A Housing Red Sky Morning." It was published today. It's in the lead content slot on Free Enterprise Forum, which has a URL of freeenterpriseforum.wordpress.com. Neil, can we go to the website with freeenterpriseforum.com? No, we can't. We should get the specific URL. Just the branding guy in me is mentioning this. I do love WordPress as a content management platform. We use WordPress as a CMS for the I Love CVille Network as well. Anywho, the gist of Neil's story is data, and that's one of the things that I love about Mr. Williamson, is he loves data just as much as I do, and he weaves pop culture and other societal references into his data-rich stories that are as much commentary as they are news reporting, and it makes the content approachable and digestible. In a nutshell, before I unpack it, the Commonwealth of Virginia has only one metropolitan statistical area in MSA that needs to increase housing production. There's only one metropolitan statistical area in all of Virginia that needs to create more housing, and it just happens to be Charlottesville, Albemarle, Buckingham, Fluvanna, Greene, and Nelson, our MSA. We're going to unpack this from an economic development angle, We'll unpack this from an affordability angle. We'll unpack this from a quality of life angle, from a neighborhood character angle, and from what's in store for the future angle. Also on the program today, I want to talk about the headwinds and tailwinds for the Charlottesville area, positives and points of concern. Judah and I have both items, positive and points of concerns, that we're going to highlight on today's show. You have some words being cut off on the screen there, Judah.
All right.
Okay, we'll just go with it. The cutting off just really hurts my soul when the words are cut off on headlines. I sincerely mean that. Just want to highlight that. Consumer price index came in hotter than expected today. I was on the phone with a banker this morning, a very talented banker that I recently did a commercial transaction with, and he said, "Look, I'm looking at CNBC. Are you watching CNBC while we're on the phone?" It was like 9:30 this morning. The CPI numbers released, and he goes, "Look, rates are going to be cut, but I don't think it's going to happen until potentially the end of the year." The CPI numbers come in hotter than expected. So we'll talk about that and how it pertains to Charlottesville, the consumer price index. Katrina Callsen, I've highlighted Katrina Callsen on this program a handful of times. Do we have a photo of Katrina Callsen that we can put on screen? She's come on the I Love CVille show. We'd love if Miss Callsen comes on the I Love CVille show again. Let me know when that photo is on screen. She's a freshman, a rookie in the House of Delegates. She beat Dave Norris and Bellamy Brown in her run for delegate. And I've said many times on this program, you may be looking at Katrina Callsen, the delegate from District 54, a potential congresswoman or U.S. senator here. And I sincerely mean this. She's Albemarle County School Board, chair of the Albemarle County School Board. She navigated COVID and the pandemic while on the school board as the chair. She parlayed or platformed or trampolined from the school board into the House of Delegates. And now her colleagues, her contemporaries in the House, have named her the Freshman of the Year. Freshman of the Year, chosen from among 34 freshmen across both caucuses. She ushered through the most bills of any of the freshmen during this last session. You're talking a city attorney for Charlottesville. She's got some Ivy League pedigree, right, Judah? Katrina Callsen, her photo's still on screen?
No, not anymore.
You can put it on screen. I think you may be looking at a congresswoman, a U.S. congresswoman, or a U.S. state senator waiting to happen. We know she's ambitious. So I want to unpack what she's doing in District 54 in the Democrat and the House of Delegates on today's program as well. She is an undergraduate. She has an undergraduate degree from Yale. She taught 7th grade math for 2 years. She completed some coursework for a master's degree at Boston University while earning a Massachusetts teaching license in middle school math and science. She went to UVA Law School, where she graduated in 2014. Quite impressive here. Also on today's program, we want to highlight the talk show we did this morning with Ralph Sampson. Ralph Sampson was in the house. You got the photo of Ralph?
Yep.
Here's a photo of Ralph standing next to me and Jerry Hootie Ratcliffe. I hope the meme accounts turn this into content on their social media pages. There's a play here on me not being the tallest for the meme accounts to use. Is that photo on screen? Ralph Sampson, 7'4", 7'5", 7'6". I mean, Hootie's an even 6 foot. You got to crop that a little tighter on the left-hand side there, J-Dubs. Hootie's 6 foot and I'd say 6 foot, 6 foot and a half. Look at how much taller he is. Roback's getting some nice love right there with the shirt I was wearing. Ralph was fantastic. We're going to play 2 clips from the Jerry and Jerry show today on the I Love CVille show, including when Boston Celtics general manager Red Auerbach shows up to Ralph Sampson's house in Harrisonburg with a briefcase full of $1 million in cash. That story was amazing. Mm-hmm. Red Auerbach trying to get Ralph Sampson to come out of college so he can draft him number 1 in the NBA draft. Ralph finishes 4 years at UVA and walks the lawn to get his diploma. He does not leave school early, but Boston Celtics general manager Red Auerbach comes to Ralph's home in Harrisonburg with $1 million in cash money. Ralph tells that story this morning, and he also tells a story of what it was like to play against Patrick Ewing in what Sports Illustrated called the game of the century, 2 giants and titans, Patrick Ewing and Ralph Sampson going toe-to-toe. Judah, we will welcome you on a 2-shot. You've already been on the program here. You're a key part of the show. What'd you make of Neil's story today on the Free Enterprise Forum? The headline, "A Housing Red Sky Morning." Mr. Williamson is watching the show today. I found it fascinating. I want to unpack it today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always intrigued by what Neil writes and what he has to say. And, I mean, I was definitely surprised to learn that we are the only MSA in Virginia.
According to the National Association of Realtors Interactive Housing Shortage Tracker, this on Free Enterprise Forum, only one metropolitan statistical area, the MSA, Charlottesville, Albemarle, Buckingham, Fluvanna, Greene, and Nelson, needs to increase housing production to keep up with job creation. We've been screaming this on our platform for years. Mr. Williamson puts it in very approachable written form on the Free Enterprise Forum. Ladies and gentlemen, to say we have a housing shortage is to say we need oxygen to breathe. To say we need a housing shortage is to say we need sleep to be healthy. To say we have a housing shortage is to say we need Vita Nova pepperoni pizza to be happy. I had a slice of Vita Nova today for lunch. He highlights, Mr. Williamson, the economic development that's on the near horizon to the tune of data science, the Paul Manning Biotech Institute, the Northrop Grumman facility that's opening in Waynesboro, and the Amazon $11 billion investment that they're going to make that's going to create new jobs. He estimates anywhere from 1,000 direct jobs to 3,000 indirect jobs, a total of 4,000. I've heard from stakeholders in Waynesboro and Albemarle and Charlottesville and in Louisa County and folks around UVA that number could be 7,000 to 8,000 direct and indirect jobs. So basically, we have a number conservatively of 4,000, a number from what I'm hearing from stakeholders that could be 7,000 or 8,000, additional people in a very short window of time, very near future, coming to Central Virginia to move with high-dollar jobs. Yeah. And the primary jurisdiction that they're going to focus on living is Albemarle County because of obvious reasons, schools, quality of life, neighborhood feel, whatever it may be.
Yeah. Neil also highlights the fact that our market needs more permits yesterday. And
building permits.
Yeah, and we are going to need even more tomorrow.
He says within the MSA, a new total permit is issued for every 3.71 jobs created. Based on the historical average, one permit is issued for every 2 new jobs in the community. He's basically saying we don't have enough new houses for people moving here.
We don't have enough houses for the people that live here.
We don't have enough houses for the folks that already live here. We don't have enough houses for the 4,000 to 8,000 that are moving here. And we have a new construction logjam, and by logjam, not a logjam at all. Here's the question. How do you solve this if there's no political appetite for more construction? We had Diantha McKeel on the program Real Talk on Friday.
Yeah.
And I referenced to Diantha, Supervisor McKeel, excuse me, Albemarle County Board of Supervisors, sitting right next to me. I said, Supervisor McKeel, you've said on previous shows that you are not in favor of expanding the developmental area. Only 5% of Albemarle County is allocated for commercial and residential development. And you've said on previous shows that we're not going to expand the developmental area until the 5% is at capacity right now. I said, do you still stand by that? And she said, absolutely, Jerry.
Yeah.
She said, absolutely, 100%. So here's the chicken and egg question. If taxpayers and voters and constituents do not want more housing, and they do not want more density, despite the fact that they know 4,000 to 8,000 additional people are about to move here with six-figure jobs, almost all of them six-figure jobs, what are we going to do to solve the crunch? Or will the crunch just be left a mystery, an unsolved mystery that could forever change the character and landscape of the largest county in Central Virginia, Albemarle?
Is there even time to walk back what's been done?
Follow. I don't follow.
I mean, Neil, as I mentioned, Neil made the point that more permits are needed yesterday. Like I said, I enjoy his wry humor, and I think what he's saying here through humor is that we are past the point where we need to do something. We needed to do something yesterday, and we didn't do it. We obviously still need to do that something today, and we're going to need to do it even more tomorrow. And that something is getting more building permits set up in the market so that we can build the housing that we need. We're not doing that. We weren't doing it yesterday when we needed to be doing it. Is there at some point do we reach a cutoff where essentially we're just bailing water out of a sinking ship?
If Neil was in here, he would say, gentlemen, the 5% developmental area, that entire 5% because of the topography cannot even be maximized. The topography does not allow development in the entire 5%. So really it's a ruse. That's what he would say if he was in here today.
That's too bad.
I don't have an answer for this because the voters that put politicians into office by a large margin do not want more density. There's no political appetite.
Yeah.
But then the argument is made by, say, the urbanist group, Livable Charlottesville, that the folks that would say yes to more housing, they can't push for more housing because they don't live here because there's not housing for them.
Right. So basically, you're basically talking about we're not going to create laws to protect children because they can't vote to enact laws to protect children.
Yeah. That's the definition of
insanity.
Catch-22, conundrum.
I mean, it's not a catch-22. The people out there, ostensibly, I think, understand what they're doing and what they're asking for and what they're voting for, and they don't want it. So,
well, the people that are also doing that voting that don't want it also may realize that if housing is limited, what happens to their housing?
Yeah, I mean,
what happens to their housing?
Obviously, it rises in price,
increases in value.
Yeah. Now that's ascribing a nefariousness of purpose that may or may not exist.
I don't think it's nefarious to want your asset or investment to increase in value. I also don't think it's nefarious for you to want less traffic. I don't think it's nefarious for someone to want less crowded schools. I don't think it's nefarious for folks to ask for less strain on infrastructure. I don't think it's nefarious for people to say, look, it's changing too fast. That was what Ralph said when he came in here. He said when he was driving from D.C. to Charlottesville for the Jerry and Jerry interview, he's like, I am taken aback again with how much this community has changed so quickly. You know, Neil says this, property owners have rights.
Yeah.
And if you've purchased in a neighborhood or if you've purchased on a street with the mindset that whatever you purchase is going to stay in its current zoning, and then that zoning is then changed by a vote of 5 people, are your rights infringed upon? And many in the city are going through that right now. If you bought a house on a street that was lined with R1 single-family detached housing, and 5 people on a dais vote to change that zoning to something that allows considerably more people to live on the street, or considerably more rooftops or beds or doorways, do you feel taken advantage of, or do you feel infringed upon? Do you feel betrayed? Do you have a sense of distrust? Are you asking what the hell is going on? Because many in the city are. I asked Ned Galloway and Diantha McKeel, Elmore County Board of Supervisors, on the talk show on Friday, would they consider upzoning the urban ring in Albemarle? Their response, body language, and the response they communicated through their words in the microphones and on these cameras on this network, said not a chance in HE double hockey sticks would the urban ring be upzoned. I encourage anyone that's watching this program to head to the Free Enterprise Forum and read the headline, Housing Red Sky. A couple of key takeaways from Mr. Williamson's commentary and reporting is we have, and we know this already, a housing shortage in the only metropolitan statistical area in the entire Commonwealth. According to the National Association of Realtors Interactive Housing Shortage Tracker, the only MSA in the Commonwealth of Virginia that needs to increase housing is the one we live in. And Mr. Williamson talks about the 4,000 potential new citizens moving to this area, tied to what we've been talking about all along, data science, biotech, 11 billion Amazon, Northrop Grumman. Quality of life, hybrid work, remote work, University of Virginia, finance, family offices, vineyards, wineries. 4 years of your best life at the University of Virginia. 4 years that you spent as an undergraduate where you are literally free of responsibility for the most part, funded by your parents for some part, and able to explore the community and fall in love with it like yours truly did, and then get so enchanted and romanticized and seduced by the community, you choose to stay and build businesses that cater to your skill set. This is happening all the time. And it's becoming easier and easier because of why?
Because of, I'm not following.
Because of the internet.
Yeah, okay.
Never in American history has it been easier to start a business of merit than right now because of information superhighway and what you have at your fingertips. The scalability that comes with the internet. Makes for great fodder for a talk show.
No doubt.
It's a position that if you're a planning commissioner, and I'm going to be in person at the planning commission meeting tonight, I may take a photo of myself and tweet Neil Williamson with me and the empty seats in the background that say seats available. I may do that today, Neil. It's a position where planning commissioners and supervisors and counselors find them in quite a predicament. Anything else you want to add to this? I'll take the link and share it on the comments section of my personal Facebook page and some of the other Facebook pages for you guys to read. Anything you want to add, my friend?
I mean, I don't think it should go unmentioned that he ends the article with a bit of finger pointing.
Finger pointing?
Yeah. And I think it's worth repeating. If localities wish to positively impact housing affordability, foster economic vitality, promote diversity, and enhance the quality of life for all its citizens. They should wake up and publicly acknowledge their role in creating the upcoming housing crisis. By understanding their role in crisis creation, they can then seek to remedy the situation by updating zoning codes, expanding development areas, and reducing regulatory boundaries that can free the market to answer the pent-up housing demand. Absent such changes, we will see continued gentrification and the loss of our once vibrant population diversity.
Powerful. Would you say not?
Powerful and well phrased.
I just retweeted Neil's link. I put it on LinkedIn. I put it on my personal Facebook page. I'm going to share it in the I Love CVille group right now. James Watson, I'm going to get to your comment here in a matter of moments. This question comes in from Jennifer. Jerry, I love when you call Mike Kochis the George Clooney of policing. Jennifer says, he is a very handsome police chief, and this got me thinking of all our elected officials, all our appointed officials, and all our city, county, and Central Virginia leaders. How would you rank them by their looks? That's a great question.
All of them. That's a lot of people.
Kochis is up there, right?
Yeah, so is Katrina.
Katrina Callsen's up there.
Yeah.
Someone make sure Chief Kochis and Ms. Callsen know we're giving them some props over here. They watch the program. Ms. Callsen's up there. Do we have a Chief Kochis photo we can put on there?
We might.
Who are the movie star lookalikes in Central Virginia's elected, appointed, and leadership realm? We have a Chief Kochis photo. He came on the program. I'm shaking his hands right here.
That wasn't the question, though.
What? The question was the top five? I'm hesitant to do a ranking.
No, I mean, the question wasn't about people that actually look like, aren't lookalikes.
But I allude to it in ways of, I use a bit more pomp and circumstance with my language for the sake of a talk show. It is, the 3 E's when it comes to talk show content, right?
Enunciate, elaborate, and I have
no
idea.
those are not. Those are not right. It's educate, entertain, and enlighten. The 3 E's of talk show content creation. John Blair, we'll get to your comments in a matter of moments. Viewers and listeners, Florence Worley Via, welcome to the program. Thank you kindly for watching the show. Viewers and listeners, what are your 5 movie star, celebrity, the 5, I guess, best looking, elected, appointed city, county, Central Virginia leaders? Should we give Chris Fairchild's watching the program here? People say bald is beautiful. Do we give Chris Fairchild some love? Chris, you still watching the program? Is Chris Fairchild on that list? Mr. Fairchild, the supervisor from Fluvanna County, are you on that list with 5 of the best-looking, elected, appointed, voted Central Virginia leaders? Is he on that list there, Judah Wickower?
Is Chris Fairchild on the list of the top 5?
Why do you ask with such question? You almost
Because
ask
I've been
like with
working on
gas. How could it be Mr. Fairchild?
I'm just making sure I got the question right because I was doing something
We gotta
over
do
here
more
while you were talking.
Okay. Yes, you got the question right.
I would need a list of all the people. I mean, I don't know who
You
else
got to
he's up
shoot
against.
from the hip, my friend.
I'd say Chris is definitely up there.
It's very dominated. It's male dominated if you think about it.
Again, I would need a list to better judge that.
I mean, look at the Board of Supervisors. How many Albemarle County Board of Supervisors can you name? Come on.
I think we figured out.
Let's do it. What do you got? Come on, rattle off
2
6.
or 3.
Go.
So we got Diantha McKeel.
Diantha
We got
McKeel.
Ned Galloway.
Okay.
We've got Pruitt.
Mike Pruitt.
Let's see. Oh man, I got her name last time. Ann Malik.
And Malik Judah, number 4. 2 to go.
I don't think I can get the other 2.
1 I know you're not going to get. Jim Andrews, the chair.
Right.
And then the one that went in the brouhaha with the gentleman from Freebridge Auto.
It's right on the tip of my brain.
Judah.
I don't know if I can.
Bela Pisso-Kirtley.
Yeah, that's right.
Bela Pisso-Kirtley. City Council, you have
always
Slam
gets
Dunk,
me.
right? Natalie Ostrin, she may be on the list.
Yeah.
Brian
Probably put
Pinkston,
her
Juan
on.
Diego Wade, Michael Payne, Lloyd Snook. What do you got? Maybe you
Those
throw a
are
little
those are 4 other people.
Creed Deeds in the mix. Katrina Callsen in the mix over there.
We already said that.
Amy Laufer in the mix.
Great deeds. I don't know.
What, you're throwing shade on Mr. Deeds?
I gotta get a
Mr.
good
Deeds
picture of
reminds
him.
me of the movie with Adam Sandler. Change your socks?
Mr. Deeds.
Change your socks?
I never saw that.
You've never seen Mr. Deeds?
Nope.
He does not like movies based on humor and comedy. You find Adam Sandler to be too slapstick for you.
Most of the time, I've enjoyed a few of his movies, but I can't watch them all. Same with Will Ferrell. They're just too like random. It's just kind of like writing gags.
Carol Thorpe, welcome to the broadcast. Do we say the best looking, can I say female? Or is it woman?
You could say best looking female politician.
Why can't I say best looking female?
Because female is basically it alters whatever comes after it.
Female can be a noun. It doesn't just have to be an adjective.
You're right. It's just
Male can be a noun. It doesn't just
odd.
have to be an adjective. Okay.
I know they can be
Best
nouns.
looking man, best looking woman. Are we going to say it's a clear cut Chief Kachis and Katrina Callsen?
Yeah, I'd say that's fair.
There it is. There are photos on screen for the viewers and listeners. If you disagree, let us know. The question was posed by Jennifer right there. Who would you say are the most movie star lookalikes of the leaders elected, appointed, or hired in the Central Virginia community? Somewhere Chris Fairchild is saying, I've got Chief Kachis. You got their photos on screen?
Yeah.
There you go. And props to both of them for doing fantastic work in their first year. Chief Kachis just celebrated his 1-year anniversary, and he's doing yeoman's work. Mm-hmm. An amazing job fighting crime in Gotham.
Yeah.
And Callsen just got named the Freshman of the Year in the House of Delegates by her peers, chosen from 34 freshmen across both caucuses. She ushered through the most bills of any of them during the session, during the most recent sesh.
Yeah, and I'm looking through at her sponsored bills, and good God, there's a lot of them.
Talk to me, Papa Bear. Talk to me.
I mean, I don't want to bore everyone to death.
Well, just rattle them off.
I mean, they're HB2, HB18, HB22.
Oh, but you don't have a little title for each bill?
I can give you the bill name, but some of them are like actual sentences. So HB2, assault, firearms, and certain ammunition, etc. Purchase, possession, sale, transfer, etc. prohibited. HB18, hate crimes and discrimination, ethnic animosity, penalties. HB22, auto sears, I'm not sure what that means, and trigger activators, prohibition on manufacture, importation, sale, etc., penalty. HB23, HB27, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 48, HB100, child labor offenses, increases civil penalties. HB 102, 106, 108, 174, marriage lawful regardless of sex, gender, or race of parties, issuance of marriage license. HB 177, 178, 179.
Okay,
HB 281, child day programs, use of office buildings, waiver of zoning requirements. 312,
okay.
327, 351. I'm only this far down.
Entertain, educate, and enlighten. God, that's a lot of bills.
I'm like this far down.
I
on
believe
the scroll
you.
Bar. I'm not gonna keep going.
I would kindly invite Ms. Callsen to join us on the program so we can talk about HB, every HB under the sun, including happy birthdays.
I mean, it goes all the way. Oh, well, they ran out of HBs and they went to HJRs and finally HRs at the end. No, I don't know.
I gotta give friend of the
but
program over there, Mr. Jim Hingley, some props for maybe being on the movie star list. The man's aging like a fine Merlot, Jim Hingley.
So, who does he look like?
Well, do we want to make it lookalikes? You're saying Kochis is the George Clooney of policing.
Well, that's what you keep saying.
Well, I was meeting movie star looks. I guess I did say movie lookalikes. Okay, Kochis is the George Clooney of policing. Delegate Callsen is most akin to who appearance-wise on the silver screen. Her photo back on screen, please. Delegate Callsen, viewers and listeners, if you're watching the show right now, Ms. Callsen is...
My first impulse is Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts, wow. That's high. Oh, man, I just tossed that. That's high praise right there. Carol Thorpe is throwing some shade at us right now. Go ahead, Julia Roberts. Okay, you're finishing your.
I mean, she's beautiful. She's got curly, wavy hair. Obviously, skin tone's a little different and hair color is different.
All right, we're going the Julia Roberts
like I said,
of the House of Delegates.
That's
How about
my first impulse?
Jim Hingley?
Jim Hingley. That's on you.
I'm going to go Mr. Hingley as a brawnier Robert De Niro.
Brawnier?
Yeah, Mr. Hingley's pretty brawn. Strong guy.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. All right, comments are coming in. Comments are coming in quickly here. Carol Thorpe goes... Carol Thorpe of the Jack Jewett District, who we very much appreciate. Can we get her photo on screen?
Yep.
She is is it 9 in the family? She's throwing shade at us right now. She's giving us some shade over there. Sorry, Carol.
We do like shade.
Sorry, Carol. Sorry. Apologize. John Blair, number 2 in the family, is watching the program. Can we get his photo on screen?
Are you not going to share the shade?
She's like, must be a slow news day.
Oh.
It's a little entertainment, CT. Come on, Carol. The Jack Jewett District. George Clooney of policing. The Julia Roberts of the House of Delegates. And the Robert De Niro, the Commonwealth's attorney. John Blair says, I could not agree more with you and Judah. Neil Williamson is a treasure for the Albemarle Charlottesville area. He said, Todd, Ray, and I had a good talk on LinkedIn about Neil's post. The price of a townhome in Albemarle County in 2024 is now the same price as a single-family home in Albemarle in 2018.
Yeah.
There is a need for some massive land use reform in Albemarle County. Again, I respect these comments, and he makes strong arguments, and he's going to back these comments up with tremendous fact. Mm-hmm. I will say this, both Mr. Blair, number 2 in our family, and Mr. Blair, if he was not in Stanton in the Valley, if he was still city attorney or interim city manager in Charlottesville, he would be on that top 3, top 4 list, movie star looks. Mr. Blair's got the presence and the je ne sais quoi and the energy of which movie star? I'll give you that answer right there. But I will say this before you give me your answer.
Based on this picture?
No, just in general. It doesn't have to be based on this picture.
Just in general.
I will say this. Mr. Blair's lives in Albemarle County. I won't say where. Yours truly lives in Albemarle County. I won't say where. Well, viewers and listeners know. Judah Wickower lives in Albemarle.
Truly too.
Judah Wickower lives in Albemarle County. We won't say where. The appreciation the 3 of us have garnered over the last 4 or 5 years has been noteworthy and significant.
Oh, insane.
Insane.
And while I understand that this is every homeowner's dream, those in charge should understand and know better than the rest of us, hopefully. And this kind of price action? What do you call it?
Appreciation.
Appreciation is
price action. What are we trading stocks?
Unnatural.
Price action.
And those that fail to see the downside are going to harm the rest of us making foolish decisions.
Well, you can make the argument that this is just BS money.
Yeah, but we've talked for years
we
about
pay taxes on it. Until you sell, you're not going to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's fair. But we've also talked for, especially on the Real Talk, on Real Talk with Keith Smith, you guys have been talking about the fact that yes, it's great that you can look at your property and see the appreciation and wiggle your fingers and count your virtual money. But the fact of the matter is, nobody's moving because it's not like your home is appreciated where others haven't. They've all appreciated. You're not getting over on anyone. Your $100,000 house that is now worth $200,000 is not buying you any more house when you sell it.
Not always the case.
Yeah, it's not always the case.
Not always
I understand
the case.
that.
I mean, if you're conceivably able to parlay something into a non-mortgaged instrumented purchase because of the equity accrued in a house purchased prior to COVID, then you're coming out ahead.
Right.
But it's not always the case.
Yeah, I don't mean that nobody gets ahead. I just mean that overall, this is not something that's good for everyone.
Albert Graves retweets the show. Ginny Who, first let's get Albert Graves' photo on screen. He is number 7 in the family, a key member of this family. And did you give a John Blair lookalike in Hollywood?
No, I didn't.
Were we going to hold on that?
My first impulse for John Blair is I'd say Dan Aykroyd.
No.
What?
No.
No?
No.
Is there a better picture I can look at besides?
I don't see the resemblance at all.
Okay.
Ginny Who, number 4 in the family, is watching the program. Ginny Who says this: those Haribo gummy bears are the best. Wegmans has them where you can buy a bag of single flavors, so we occasionally get the pineapple ones. I personally like the white ones, the pineapple ones, the gummy bears.
You're asking the wrong person. I can't remember the last time.
I like to mix the white ones with the red ones in a bag. And it's just like this midnight waltz in my mouth.
That
Like
sounds
the cha-cha on my tongue.
That sounds like strawberries and cream.
Strawberries and cream.
I don't know what the flavors are, honestly.
Okay. I want to highlight on today's program a couple of sizzle reels from the Jerry and Jerry show where Ralph Sampson joined us. Before we do, if you go on a one-shot so I can see the headlines, because if you remember, we finished the headlines. Well, I did not email them to you. We actually typed them in directly. Headwinds and Tailwinds, I believe, is a topic we haven't gotten to, although this first 40 minutes of the program were headwinds and tailwinds, potentially, of the show. I mean, economic development, jobs are coming. Thousands of jobs in the next few years. Thousands of new jobs, incremental jobs in the next few years.
Yeah.
Economic development. Coveted area to live. The number one employer expanding, UVA.
Yep.
Housing appreciation. I could continue with the tailwinds if you want me to. Quality of life. Officials essentially throttling density, so some would say is more quality of life because there's less congestion. But some of those same headwinds can be conveyed or portrayed as tailwinds.
Depending on
your outlook and how you look at it. Housing appreciation, increased taxes, assessments are going up.
Yeah, people that have no problem affording the house that they bought usually don't have much problem with increased taxes. But people that scraped by or took a large loan to buy a house, that extra $100 or $200 even a year can be hard, if not crippling.
Economic development, new jobs, can mean competition and gentrification.
Yeah.
Politicians that throttle development could mean, hey, I can't live there if I want to. The number one employer expanding and creating more positions to hire means what if I'm not qualified to work there? What am I supposed to do? And how do I keep up with the Joneses? It's the tomato, glass is half full, glass is half empty contrast. Anything you want to add to that?
I think,
You're much more, what's the word I'm looking for? Trepid, much more
trepidatious
concerned, cautious,
about
much more lukewarm.
About all of this?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's, we oftentimes talk about the extremes of things. That is news. But I think it's easy for the rest of us, myself included, at times to forget about, forget about those things that are affecting others when they're not affecting us. And so it's easy to go about our days. It's easy for me to go and, I don't drive a whole lot. I don't drive very far.
You drive.
So I don't.
I'd say you drive less than 5 miles a day.
Quite possibly.
I'd say you may drive less than 4 miles a day.
Quite possibly.
How many miles is it from your estate to our headquarters?
I don't know.
I would say it's less than 2 miles.
Probably.
So you are on a regular basis driving less than 4 miles round trip per day.
Most likely. The point, getting back to my point, I don't have to spend a lot of money on gas. I'm blessed in that way.
You also are a single man.
I'm also a single man who doesn't always eat a whole lot.
Doesn't have much overhead.
So it's easy to forget that there are people that may have to drive 25, 30 miles one way for work. It's hard to keep in mind that there are people that have to go and get one of the large shopping carts when they go to the grocery store. I can get by with a basket or one of those little small ones.
Do you get it with the green car that has the steering wheel attached to it? Do you ever push that grocery cart around?
I find someone that looks friendly and I ask them to push me around. No, I don't.
Do you ever have fun in the grocery store and get the electric cart that you sit in that's motorized and drive it around?
No, I've never done that.
I think I did that last week.
But I do run.
Literally.
And then
I was chastised by the bag boy for driving around the aisles in the electric cart in the grocery store. Said, "Sir, you can't be in that." I said, "What do you mean?" It was parked next to the entrance.
And you said, "Sir, you don't know the problems I have."
I said, "I have a terrible case of tennis elbow. Do you see the brace that I'm wearing on my forearm? I need this electric cart." He said, "Sir, please get out." I said, "Okay," and I just got out. And then he whisked it back to the front entrance.
You said, "I'll fight you for it."
No, I did not say that. I said, "Yes, sir." I just got out, and he got in the cart and drove it to the entrance.
There you go.
True story. I interrupted you. I apologize. Please finish your thought process. You were making a very good point.
I believe I was just making the point that we all have our blind spots, things that we don't have to worry about, issues that don't affect us the way they affect other people. And for myself, I try to at least keep some of those things in mind occasionally, better understand what other people are going through. But it's impossible. I'm not living their lives. I don't know. I've been blessed with good health. I can't remember the last time I had to go to the hospital, at least for myself. And so I'm incredibly thankful, but there are people all around us going through hardships, and we talk about a lot of it.
Well said. For some reason, your commentary was poignant and perspective rich and on point per usual. But when you said something about life, I immediately went to James Vanderbeek in Varsity Blues, where he goes, "I don't want your life." Have you seen Varsity Blues?
No.
Oh my goodness.
What world do you live in where you think I'm trying to watch sports movies?
It's much more than just football and Varsity Blues. It's a coming-of-age rite of passage set in Texas Friday night football about teens maturing into young adulthoods and the trials and tribulations they face as they graduate high school.
Okay.
Varsity Blues.
All themes that are very dear to my heart.
Can we play the Ralph Sampson sizzle reel?
Sure.
Ralph Sampson, the greatest basketball player in Virginia history. Seriously, the greatest basketball player in the Commonwealth of Virginia history. Someone argue with me on that. A three-time National College Player of the Year. Do you know the only other basketball player in hoops history that's been named three-time College Basketball Player of the Year?
You know I don't.
Bill Walton.
Okay.
The Purdue center may be named Player of the Year this year, which would make him a two-time winner. But the only three-time winners are Ralph Sampson and Bill Walton. Yeah. Ralph Sampson was voted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. He was the number 1 draft pick by the Houston Rockets in the 1983 NBA draft. He went from Harrisonburg High School to the University of Virginia, where obviously he had fantastic fame, notoriety, many accomplishments. He lived on the lawn, Ralph Sampson. He was so famous that they had to move him from the lawn to coach Terry Holland's basement, where they had to get a waiver for the NCAA for him to move from the lawn to Coach Holland's basement, because people would routinely bang and knock on Ralph's door on the lawn to get a glimpse of him, to talk to him, to touch his hand, just to meet him.
And we saw a little bit of that same thing after the show, didn't we?
Can I tell the story?
Yeah.
Ralph Sampson leaves the studio. Our studio is on Market Street. This literally happened less than 2 hours ago. And as he was leaving the I Love CVille studio on Market Street,
he was fortunate enough to have found a parking spot directly, like literally straight out the door from our office.
He found the best parking spot in Charlottesville for the studio, literally in front of the office.
Yeah.
As he's walking to his luxury automobile, it looked like a Mercedes. As he's getting in the automobile, there was a car driving down Market Street. And a woman that was driving, not a female, a woman was driving this car. She screeched on the brakes, came to an immediate stop, got out of her car, engine running, door wide open on Market Street, runs around the hood of her Honda Accord just to greet Ralph Sampson, shake his hand, grinning like a schoolgirl as if she saw the George Clooney of policing.
Yeah.
She tries to hug Ralph, shakes his hand, literally stops traffic on Market Street. There is a cat bus behind this Accord. Waiting, honking on the horn, saying, "What the hell are you doing?" She did not care. She wanted to greet Ralph. And as that interaction was happening, as Judah and I are seeing this interaction through the storefront of the I Love CVille Network,
other cars are going by in the other direction, stopping.
Yeah! There's other cars coming down Market Street in the other direction, stopping in the middle of Market Street. 10,000 cars every day go by this road, honking and waving to Ralph.
Yeah.
It's like the Taylor Swift of Charlottesville.
Sure.
Is Ralph more of a celebrity locally than Dave Matthews?
I have no idea.
People leave Dave alone. Dave can wear a hat and go incognito.
Dave is also a How tall do you think he is?
When you're 7'6", you can't hide.
Yeah.
Can you put the photo on screen? I'm sitting next to Ralph. I'm 6'5". No, I'm not.
Liar.
I'm 5'7". Was 5'8". Went to my last physical. Evidently, I'm shrinking. Cars on either side of Market Street in either direction stopped to interact and just to get a hello or to shake the man's hand today.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine what it was when he was a student at the University of Virginia. He tells a story on the Jerry and Jerry Show today about what it was like having Red Auerbach, the general manager of the Boston Celtics, a Hall of Famer, one-time coach of the Celtics, come to his house in Harrisonburg with $1 million in a briefcase to try to persuade him to leave the University of Virginia early and to enter the NBA draft. We have that sound for you. Can you imagine the general manager of the Boston Celtics coming to your home in Harrisonburg with a briefcase with $1 million in it, trying to persuade a 20-year-old man to leave college early so he can draft him with the number 1 overall draft pick in the 1980 NBA draft? Here's the story. Cue up that sound in 3, 2, 1. Give us the Red Auerbach story. He offered you $1 million?
Yeah, the story was that he came, he had a suitcase with $1 million in it. I don't know if that was
That's what it looked
true
like. I don't know. So there's a picture of him and Mr. Fitzgerald that owned the Celtics came in. They came to the front door. We let them in. They wanted to talk to us about coming out. And it's funny because no Cedric Maxwell played with him in Houston. So he had the podcast. We were on his show a couple of years ago, and he said, well, Red came to me and Larry and said, would you come down and help us coach Ralph Sampson to come in, into the league? And both of them said, no, we don't want to take that trip, whatever, but we'll call him. So they called before during the process, and then Red and Mr. Fitzgerald came, knocked on the door, and they had a briefcase with $1 million in it. Supposedly, now I couldn't see the rest of it, but the tops had $100 bills on it. But I don't know if underneath didn't have. Who knows, right? So you can come play for the mighty Boston Celtics, and we'll give you this $1 million, and you'll play in Boston and be great. So just wasn't ready. I was only, like I said, 200 pounds. I wasn't physically ready for Robert Parrish and the East brutal beatdown in the league at that point in time. And I just was having fun in college, and I wanted to continue my education.
We got one more clip for you to play from the Jerry and Jerry Show today. We encourage you to listen to this show, one of the best ones we've ever done. Jerry Hootie Ratcliffe, yours truly, Ralph Sampson. And this clip, he talks about the game of the century, which was how it was billed by Sports Illustrated magazine, a game that featured Georgetown Hoya Patrick Ewing. You know Patrick Ewing?
Yep.
And Ralph Sampson in a college basketball contest of still memorable and epic proportions. The game of the century, Ralph Sampson talking about Patrick Ewing and what it was like to play against the Georgetown Hoya. 3, 2, 1.
Well, yeah, one thing you may have, and you had so many highlights in college. One of them was the showdown with Patrick Ewing and the game of the century. Cover of Sports Illustrated, 2 covers for Sports Illustrated just for that one game. I saw an interview with Patrick, I guess when you went into the Hall of Fame, and he said he went out on the court, lined up against you, and he said, I looked up, and I kept looking up. I kept looking up and said, my God, this man is huge.
Yeah, what
was that game like for you?
It was a fun game. I talk
you
about
100%. You were
I wasn't. I was still. I wasn't quite 100%. I was had the flu, but we had played, as you know, a couple weeks before that. We had played Carolina, Duke. We had played all the top teams in the country almost within 10, 15 day span. So we were on a big time roll, and 3 or 4 days before the game, we had all the Sports Illustrated. We had the press. It was crazy up until that game. And then the day before, it snowed.
Yeah.
If you remember that. So a 2-hour drive was a 5-hour drive, whatever, to Cap Center, but we got there. And so it was fun to watch and play. But the biggest significant thing out of that, after you look back, is Othell Rickey I talked to Michael Jackson a little bit. Where he was really scared of Odell and Ricky, because they pressure the ball so much. And Georgetown played great defense, but Odell was pretty tough.
He was nasty.
Yeah, nasty. And Ricky was really fast.
Yeah.
So all I knew was that if I could control the middle, I'd get the ball to them. And then Rick Carlisle could shoot and play, and he was tough too. And so we could. I figured we could win, but I don't know how effective we would be, until we got to the game. So it was fun. I had played in the Cap Center in high school against Sam Boyd with the All-Star game. So that was fun, but it was a great place to play because you really couldn't see the stands because they had black in the stand out with the lights. Mm-hmm. So for me, with the atmosphere in the Cap Center was amazing to play in. And that game with Georgetown was great to watch, again, after I watched it after the fact, but also play. And then a guy named Senator Russ Potts, I think, helped put that game on. He's passed on now, but we used to talk about all the time. And so he gave me all the things he had to do to get that game on television. The schools got money, and it was on network TV. It was like the game of the century, decade, what it was, like Cream and Elvin Hayes. So they tried to do the same thing like that. So it was fun, and then Patrick and I had a chance to talk, afterwards sometimes here and there in Hall of Fame, or when UVA played Georgetown a couple of years ago. We talked in a preseason game, and it's the first time I played against somebody that tall as well and that strong. But I knew I was probably a little bit more savvy than him in college at that point in time. But they played and dominated, a different way. But we had a really good team. They had a really good team, and as you look back memory-wise, it's really good to watch that game again and really figure out where you were at that point in time. And then you also hear fans say, I was at that game. And then coming to the restaurant, there are pictures on the back wall where people say, I was at that game. So those stories are definitely good to hear. Again, wherever they were here, some of them are real, some are more embellished, but it's the fans watching, and it's a good perspective for me to understand and enjoy their stories.
That's the 3-time National Player of the Year, the greatest basketball player in Commonwealth of Virginia history, on the Jerry and Jerry Show in our studio on Market Street. Ralph Sampson. You can find that podcast wherever you get your podcasting or social media content. It's the Jerry and Jerry Show, featuring Jerry Hootie Ratcliffe, who is going to his 50th straight ACC basketball tournament this week in D.C. 50 straight ACC basketball tournaments for Hootie Ratcliffe. Golly, that's a milestone to celebrate. Tomorrow's show, the great JerrDini will be in attendance. And Sidekick Boobini. Do you have a photo of JerrDini? We're going to give more fodder to the meme accounts. Meme accounts, get ready to post the great JerrDini's picture from tomorrow. The attire will be enhanced. There will be a shawl.
George Irwin Shaw.
Maybe some clip-on earrings, and perhaps an envelope in JerrDini's attire tomorrow. What will Boobini be wearing?
I don't know.
Boobini?
I gotta find something suitably.
I don't know. It's not an answer.
I gotta find something suitably Boobini-ish.
Come on, Boobini. All right, JerrDini and Boobini tomorrow. Any closing thoughts for your fans?
You're on screen.
Oh, JerrDini is?
And so is Curtis.
Oh, there we go. That made it to the meme accounts. I thought it was hilarious. Any closing thoughts for your fans, Boobini? No?
Get outside and enjoy the weather.
Yes, Bill McChesney, I will be wearing a shawl.
A shawl.
JerrDini and Boobini will be in attendance tomorrow, Bill McChesney. Judith says get outside and enjoy the weather. All right. That is the Tuesday edition of the program. We hope you enjoyed as much as us. Please do us the favor of spreading the gospel. That is the I Love CVille Show by telling somebody about it. Like and share the show. Or let us know in the comments section we did a great job. We work hard for you. The only thing we ask in return is you spread the gospel. For Judah Wickower, I'm Jerry Miller, and thank you kindly for joining us on today's talk show. So long, everybody.